Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, privet, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10. How are you? Hope your weekend was good. Sunday was disappointing, wasn't it? What can I tell you? Welcome to the UK. You know, you never quite know what you're going to get, do you? And yesterday was pretty miserable, but a little bit warmer today. Hopefully the weather will get a bit warmer in the course of this week. We'll see. So how are you? Hope you're well. Welcome to Ken at 10, talking about property, as always, here in Southwest London, based in Norbury, and talking all about the topical things that are going on. Can you see the tumbleweed? What do I mean by that? Well, many commentators are suggesting that the property market may die and that it's pretty dire out there. Now, when they say that, the question is, what does it mean for the UK property market? And actually, what they're missing is that the problem is a lack of stock, not a lack of people wanting to buy it. So what we're finding is at the moment that we still have more buyers than sellers, particularly for the family home bracket. 2 and 3 bedroom houses are in great demand and the supply is very slow. So when I see, can you see the tumbleweed? What I mean is that there really is a lack of stock out there. And some people would have you believe that this is very negative and it means that the UK property market is dead. Nothing could be further from the truth as far as I'm concerned at the moment. And I know that's counterintuitive given what's going on elsewhere in both the UK, the world, the economy, with inflation, with interest rates, everything. None of it seems logical. None of it seems to add up. Well, welcome to the UK property market. That's pretty much it. If you told me at the beginning of the pandemic that the market would go nuts during the pandemic, I wouldn't have believed you, but it did. And it just goes to show the UK property market can surprise us all. One of the reasons it can surprise us all, and the big one, is the fact that we are a small island and therefore we have a limited amount of housing, a limited amount of space for people to move to and from. And so the old adage, buy land they're not making any more, becomes truer and truer when we build less houses than we need every year. So a few news headlines for you today. The first one is Gove. He's asking for, it's funny that he's the levelling up minister, don't you think? He's so sort of pious and pompous. He's the minister for levelling up. I mean, I want somebody who's a little bit more working class, perhaps down to earth, to be the levelling up minister, not someone quite as posh as Mr. Gove. But he's good with sound bites, isn't he? And yet again, he's hit with a good sound bite. This time he's saying first time buyers, he wants lenders to accept more, be more generous with tenants. But I do actually agree with the underlying sentiment of this. I've been saying for some time that we've got many, many tenants that pay rents that are far higher than the equivalent mortgage would be, and yet they can't get the mortgage for the same amount. So we've got many tenants, for instance, where they're paying 1,500 per calendar month, but the mortgage equivalent of 1,500 per calendar month, they can't afford on paper. And it's just not fair because we know they've been paying that in rental for a number of years. So clearly it is affordable to that particular family. And with open banking, these days, you can allow a lender to have access to just your rent payments without them seeing any more of your business. And this would be a great way forward for lenders to actually lend to people that on paper may not look great, but when they investigate through open banking into perhaps the salary going in and the rent payments coming out, they could see that the affordability is there. And that would be a really good thing. You know, if they could work mortgages on the basis of, is the rental income equal to or more than the equivalent mortgage payment would be? And if so, why wouldn't we grant them a mortgage? That would be perfectly logical and a really good move forward. So as much as it's probably a soundbite, because that seems to be what governments are good at, let's hope it's a bit more than that and hope that lenders come up with some proposals that fit around that, because I'd love to see some of our long-term tenants who obviously, you know, we've got hundreds of tenants here in Southwest London and they become our friends and we want them, we aspire for them to do better, not just about aspiring for people that are already on the ladder to make their next moves. No, you know, we want to see people actually succeed and move up the ladder and secure their own family homes, because the big problem with the rental system is if you have a family at any stage, the landlord can serve you notice. And, you know, before you know it, you're looking for another place and it's unsettling for families. So it'd be really nice if we could be more flexible in our approach to this. Now, Q1, a couple of things there, a couple of bits of news for you on house prices. The cheapest house price in Q1, where do you think it was? We go all the way up to Geordieland for that. Sunderland, and the property was sold for 16,500. That's the cheapest sale in Q1 in the UK. And the most expensive was in Kensington and Chelsea, as you might expect. And that was 22 million. I mean, it just blows your mind, doesn't it? And interestingly, the number of sales exceeding £1 million is very high as well. 1,883 properties in the UK was sold at above 1 million in the first quarter. And that's quite an impressive number, isn't it, of homes over £1 million. Coming on from that, I just wanted to talk briefly about stamp duty, because the economists from the LSE are saying that it's an unfair tax. And, you know, we've said for a long time, it is unfair. There are many people, for instance, especially the elderly, that are trapped in very large homes, but when they work out the costs of moving to a smaller one, the stamp duty costs just don't work for them. And perhaps some other sort of tax would be much fairer, such as a wealth tax based on the value of the property that you own annually. The problem with this is, where do you draw the line with it? Do you only do it for pet owner occupiers? That's not really fair, is it? Or is it? You know, but the bigger problem with it is, and this is the global one and the huge one, is, do you know how much money the government took in the last financial year from stamp duty? Well, I'll tell you, £14.1 billion in 21-22. And that's the real reason why stamp duty is not going anywhere. It's the easiest tax to collect, and the government love it because it chucks loads of money in the coffers, regardless of what the wider economy is doing almost. So I don't see it changing rapidly. I hope it does, because I think it could do with reform, but I'm not sure the government will have the guts to actually make enough significant changes to that to make it work. We'll see. But certainly with that sort of tax take, it would take a massive sea change in the way that they take tax and wealth tax people in respect of their properties if they took away stamp duty. So, and it's so easy. The solicitors collect it, they chuck it straight at the government do absolutely nothing for it, literally. So I don't see it going anywhere, but it'd be interesting to see where the argument goes. I think it will just continue to loop around and around, and stamp duty will remain at or pretty much where it is already, but we'll see. Apart from that, busy week this week in terms of inspections and valuations, which is good because we desperately need the stock. There's not enough stock on the market right now. Every time we get a family home on the market, it seems that one snapped up and we're looking for the next one. Management and lettings wise, we're finding again we're short of stock at the bottom and middle ends, particularly the 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes. Got lots of people looking, lots of people that we dealt with for years that are struggling to find new homes because of the shortage right now. So if you are considering either buy to let and you want to chat about that, we're always happy to talk about that. Or if you're a tenant just looking for a home, always get in touch around Norbury and SW16 Southwest London. We'll do our best to help you if we can. Now, don't forget, tomorrow after our broadcast tomorrow, we'll be on Homes Under the Hammer, BBC One. And that, I think, is 10:15 to 11:15, something like that. So literally straight after Ken at 10 tomorrow, jump on to BBC One, Homes Under the Hammer, and you'll see us live there in Brixton. And that is a really fabulous house in Arradine Road. I think you'll really enjoy that one. I certainly did. It's one of my favourite shows that we've done, when you see what the house was and what it is and what they've done with it. And most importantly, how tasteful it is. You know, they really have made a lovely job on it. And it's lovely to see that when you get the right buyers and they do the right things, and they actually refurbish it intelligently and sympathetically to the period of the property. That's what seems to be lacking a lot of the time, and certainly what they got right on this one in Arradine Road. So do look out for that tomorrow if you can. And if you think of selling, just want to chat about that, we're around, we're here. The offices are open. Always glad to talk to you about that. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another show. Until then, look after yourselves, and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.